just therapy all week, just trying to get that knee and leg better before this weekend, and it's still not 100%, but it's feeling good enough for the races.
Guys, it was a test of his character last week to be able to put that out of his mind and come out and get a podium. So Jet Lawrence, your fastest qualifier here in Indy.
Thank you, Ashley. And Cooper Webb has decided that this is a race to him. He gets the whole shot right there, and he's sprinting away as fast as he can. There's Adam. Oh, no, that's Eli right behind him.
Tomac, yeah.
From far distance, the 1 and the 9. I know that they don't look the same, but
no,
my eyes are going, I need some glasses or something. I thought that was AC.
It happens to the best of us, including me.
Getting out front, sprinting away right now. And
that's atypical for him.
Well, but he talked about it. You know, when he's comfortable, when things are right, he's not afraid to go. So I don't think he's the kind of rider who just approaches qualifying with no interest. He's not trying to be fast. It's just if things aren't right, he's not going to over push. When things are right, he goes for it. Now, Eli Tomac was your second fastest qualifier in the first session with a 47.5, right behind Ken Roczen with the 47.4. And for Eli, look, Dan, I go back to Saturday night. He was the fastest qualifier, looked great. I'm thinking it's his night. He's gonna get another win, go back to back. But then he was quiet. The heat race wasn't great. The main event wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't bad, but to his standard, it was an off night, no question.
It was, and we've seen that before with Eli Tomac, and then he battles back. I mean, we've seen him in off races where he's way down and claws his way back up to the top, so you can't count him out. But, you know, he's been through a lot. He's got, I think, 3 outdoor championships. He's the reigning champ for Monster Energy Supercross coming into 2021. Think how many starts this guy has been in, how many races he's been in, how many practice laps he's done, how many heat races. It's just an enormous amount of hard work he's put in, and he's got that #1 on his back. That was a major goal. So I'm not saying he would ever back off a little bit, but maybe a little bit tempered, and maybe, hey, I'm in it for the long haul. I know what happens before when I push too hard and I get hurt. Same thing. Slow it down, take my time, and go after the prize at the end of the year.
Yeah, you never know what he's thinking inside his mind, and the different variables that he weighs during the week and during the weekends. Just especially at this point in his career.
I mean, he keeps it close to the vest too.
He does. He's not going to tell you, but I mean, you have to imagine that he's motivated to win this title. But at the same time, there's not a crazy sense of urgency with him to come out and turn things around like this guy. I mean, Cooper Webb, who is definitely flying in this session, 48.2. He's 3rd in this session, but still 9th overall. These guys were flying in their first run, but Cooper Webb definitely at round 3 needed to do something. You know, what did he have? An 11.4. That's not the way you want to start a championship. So for him, I felt at round 3, it was like on. He needed to get it going, where Eli was coming off of a win and, you know, didn't really have that back against the wall type mentality. And that might have cost him. That might have been why he got the 5th, because you see Ken Roczen, he was fired up over the penalty. Right. Cooper Webb was fired up because he needed to turn things around.
two guys were
fired up because he's like, God, I got to stabilize this thing and get on the podium. Then Barcia rode like a madman on Saturday. So for Eli, look, if you take 1% of the edge off, 4 or 5 guys can be better than you on a night. And that's the difficulty, is can you go 17 rounds and be at the top of your game the entire season? I mean, Ken Roczen's an example of someone, man, he's made it about 14 now. He's getting 13, 14, 15 rounds in, and then last year just lost it at the last couple. That's the big test for him. We know he's good in the beginning of the season. He always is. I've seen that red plate on his bike the last 3 years for extended runs. Can he do it late when things really, you know, start beating you up? And when you are going at 90% physically because your body's beat up and you're tired, that's where the real test, I think, will come in for Ken Roczen. It's not early in the season. He passes that test every year.
No, I think it's better this year. He took outdoors off, right? Took the season off. He got a new bike and worked a lot.
And a bike he likes.
HRC, and a bike he's comfortable on, and he appreciates it, and he knows it, and he's got a great crew. He's got a lot of momentum. He's the quintessential, you know, don't let the bad stuff get you down, and use it as fuel. And so I like what I'm seeing out of Ken Roczen on the Honda HRC. The 94, the red plate, it just might stick for a while, and I can't wait to tonight and that gate drops in the main to see what he puts together.
Look at the time difference. Okay, 47.1 to Roczen's 47.7. Now that's in this session.
That's pretty big.
That's big. But overall, Roczen had a 47.4 in the first qualifier. So if you look at the overall sheet, it doesn't look that far apart. But I'm telling you right now, 0.6 is a lot in this session.
I thought they were going to drop down a lot further. You were like, no, I don't think they're going to drop down that much. Nothing crazy. And you were right.
Well, these guys figured the track out quicker,
pretty fast,
you know, than the 250B or 450B guys. So there's less room for improvement. They're already borderline at the max, so they're going to find something. But I mean, Eli was able to find 0.4 of a second, and Ashley, it's no question that Eli Tomac's on rails right now. But Ken Roczen again has been so impressive, especially these qualifiers.
Yeah, and I think when Ken goes back to see the difference in these laps, he'll notice that Eli is still blitzing through that loop section that we've been talking about all day long. So Eli came to the far right-hand side, and he was able to go extremely faster there, where Kenny was making it into a rhythm section. There you see he does 1-2 jumps, and he's out, but it's not quite as fast as Eli's line.
So Ashley, what I notice about that as well is Eli's goes to the outside, he slingshots, get the run to the whoops, and blitzes him. That is a great line for your fast lap, for qualifying. I like Kenny's line though, when you go up the inside, protect, and then double or roll in triple, double. Don't you think that that's more of a race line right there, where Eli's just using a fast qualifying line?
Yeah, I think we'll see it more consistently in the racing, because it is the more consistent line for these guys. I think Eli was just putting down a hot lap, but then again, his comfort level isn't quite as comfortable as some of the other riders in the jumping line.
Right.
So we'll see what he tries.
That's a great point. Eli is the last to go to that. He won't even do it. The whole field will be triple to the whoops, and he doesn't do it. So obviously, while the whoops are still in this condition, he's going to blitz through them, and that's how he got that 47.1. Musquin and Cincerello are now into the 47.3s. Roczen has cut. He had a 47.4 in the first session. Now he does a 47.4 again. This is a little bit quicker. And Cooper Webb, as fast as he looked those early laps, he's still sitting in 8th with a 48.2. I mean, that's over a second off of Eli Tomac's pace. But again, with him, you can't read into that all the way, because again, he builds for the last 5 minutes. And he gets great starts, so he's always in range. And that's Cooper Webb's mentality and kind of his approach. Eli Tomac not satisfied, Dan, with a 47.1. What do you want, a 46, Eli? I mean,
yeah.
You're already top of the board. He's like, nah, he must know something, though. You know,
yeah,
these riders, sometimes they'll do a fast lap. Cincerello's told me before, I do a fast lap, but I know there's more out there. I felt it. I felt these two corners could be better. That's why you see them push for just a little bit more.
You talked about that earlier, just squeezing every fraction of a second out. There's his teammate, Cincerello.
CB beats it. 47.1 is his best. That was a 47.8. So as good as that looked, that was 7/10 slower
he backed
than
off
his best.
a little bit, right? I don't see Barcia in there either. 15th for Barcia. I was looking for him. You mentioned the trajectory of Cooper Webb. I think they're tied because they have a similar setup. Barcia won the opener, then got a 9th, then got 4th. Cooper Webb got a 9th in the opener, then got 4th, then got 1st.
Yeah,
so a
9-4-1
for both of them in different events in Houston, or different nights in Houston, puts them at the tie. So I'm curious to see if Barcia can pick it up and get back up there on that Troy Lee Designs Red Bull gas. But right now it's Osborne in the mix too. Look at the 16 of Osborne on the Roczen Energy Husqvarna. But there are a couple of Monster Energy Kawasaki's in the mix, and Marvin Musquin, who really needs to bring it back. There's Barcia coming out.
I'm not too concerned with him.
Yeah.
I think he approaches it a little bit more like Cooper Webb does.
Yeah.
I mean, even last Saturday, he didn't look great in qualifying, and then the gate dropped for the heat race, and he was on fire. So, again, a little bit of positioning and maybe just toying with things with the bike, trying different things. And again, it's so hard for these guys because they're so tempted. They're so tempted to just do whatever the fastest thing you can do for this qualifier. A lot of the things they're doing right now, they're not going to be doing tonight. They're not going to race this way. They're not going to take the same lines. They're going to have to be more protective. And so, again, there's these different phases throughout the night. Some riders, they just put all the importance on the main event. For Barcia, it's obviously the heat race in the main event.
Sure.
Qualifying isn't as important to him. Where Eli Tomac, Marvin Musquin, Adam Cincerello, Chase Sexton, when he was with us, a lot of emphasis on qualifying. They want to go to the truck, top 3 and or top of the board.
Sure, and I think too, in the racing situation, you want to feel what it's like on a hot lap. You want to feel it's like when you're pushing as hard as you can go flat out towards the finish line. So, I mean, all these things that, depending on your speed, right, it's going to change. So, depending how fast you go through the whoops, depending on the position you're in, there's a certain point where you got to push it. You got to twist the throttle. and shift and go. And so, I mean, to me, it's a really valuable time to find out where your limit is, as opposed to your main event.
Right. And again, it's a great chance to test the bike and see what the bike, how it reacts to full speed. And that's why, again, it's important for these guys to go fast, but I would say even more important than just that pure speed is trying different lines. That was great. Out to in, try the left side. I mean, Eli, as much as he probably doesn't like it, should take a look at jumping the whoops, because you might get late main event. You might have to go to it. I would take this opportunity to try those things, especially when you're at the top of the board and you're safe, you're going to have a good gate pick. Experiment a little bit. Take the inside, try some different lines, maybe even get behind one of your competitors just to see where a passing line might show up. For me,